welcome to this week's LOLC Securities Weekly Market Roundup. Together with Megara Vijayamanna, I am Tharindu Amarasekara. And as always, this is the sound of profitability. In economic news, Sri Lanka's embassy in Vietnam has established a MOU between Vietnam Trade Promotion Agency and the Export Development Board of Sri Lanka in order to push the overall trade between the two nations to over $500 million.
In 2023, Sri Lanka's exports to Vietnam was around $35 million and imports from Vietnam was $185 million. Vietnam's exports and imports with the world is around $360 billion and $330 billion respectively. The MOU is set to achieve trade turnover targets of $500 million first and then $1 billion within the next 3 to 4 years, thus benefiting both the countries.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe stressed on the importance of having a focus towards an export-oriented, competitive and modern economy versus an import substitution economy. These comments were shared at a keynote address at the Sri Lanka Human Capital Summit 2024.
He highlighted how Tamil Nadu's economy could significantly benefit from Sri Lanka's ports in Trincomalee and Colombo, and also focused on the necessity of prioritizing the vocational and technical sectors in education, given that many who left the country were vocationally and technically qualified. He also further emphasized on the importance of the BIMSTEC region countries working together towards economic prosperity.
Sri Lanka aims for an ambitious 40% of tax collection mainly through income, property and wealth taxes by 2025, which is an increase from the current 30%. They intend to do this furthermore by expanding the tax net and also by taking tough measures on anyone avoiding taxation.
As the State Finance Minister Ranjit Siambalapitiya stated, the island nation's state revenue has increased to almost 13% of the GDP now, from 8.3% in 2022. The country had 80% of the indirect taxes and 20% of the direct taxes when the government started the recovery process from the bottom of the economic crisis. President Ranil Wickremesinghe's administration is contemplating new wealth, property and inheritance tax from next year in line with its commitments it agreed with the IMF.
Despite shortlisting 3 potential buyers earlier, the government has halted the plans for selling the debt-ridden national airline Sri Lankan Airlines because of multiple reasons, including not being able to finalize with a suitable buyer, according to top sources of the government.
Earlier, the government shortlisted 3 potential buyers, including Malaysia's AirAsia. The cabinet agreed to take over debts of US $510 million belonging to the Sri Lankan Airlines. The airline reported a profit of Rs 1.124 billion for the 9 months ending December 31, 2023, and the 2023 budget position report showed that the positive gains in the finances of the airline were encouraging too.
United Motors PLC announces the appointment of Mr. Arjuna Herath as an independent non-executive director. Mr. Arjuna Herath recently retired from Ernst & Young as the senior partner and head of consulting for Sri Lanka and Maldives and brings with him a wealth of expertise.
Mr. Herath's distinguished career includes roles such as Marketing Development Manager at Ceylon Tobacco Company and Director Corporate Finance at Merchant Bank of Sri Lanka. His extensive experience is further highlighted by his service as a board member of the Sri Lanka Accounting and Auditing Standards Monitoring Board and as a commissioner of the Securities and Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka.
Nations Trust Bank PLC plans to raise 10 billion rupees via debentures. This will have 3 types of debentures, with 2 of them having 5-year maturities and 1 having 7-year maturity. And one of the 5-year maturity debentures will be having interest being paid semi-annually.
Its board has resolved to issue 50 million unlisted, rated, unsecured, senior redeemable debentures of Rs 100 each, with an option to issue a further 30 million of such debentures and a further option of 20 million debentures at the discretion of the bank in the event of an oversubscription.
Worldwide, businesses were hit by massive tech outages, both from Crowdstrike as well as Microsoft. Around the world, we saw banks, hospitals, broadcasters, and even airlines having their operations halted mainly due to a recent Crowdstrike tech update which has brought down systems around the world. Separately, Microsoft too experienced a downtime in their cloud servers which was later restored. The overall share price of Crowdstrike experienced a drop of 11%.
Cybersecurity firm Crowdstrike has admitted that the problem was caused by an update to its antivirus software. It was designed to protect Microsoft Windows devices from malicious attacks. Flight cancellations into or out of the US have topped 3,000 flights and over 11,000 US flights were delayed. Some experts do recognize that this is probably the largest IT system outage in the history.
And that's it for this week's LOLC Securities Weekly Market Roundup. No matter what investment decision you make, as always, make it with the right intel. We will see you next week.